Good morning, and thank you for tuning into the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering the Lakers firing coach Darvin Ham. We'll also be talking about the NBA playoff games. We'll also be discussing what's next for the LA Clippers, and make sure that you guys stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into our dating horror stories for the week. Before we start, though, I just wanted to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show.
It always throws me when you have like a giddy, because you have a cadence to how you do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's always so smooth. So whenever there's a hitch, it throws me. It totally throws me off. So, all right, Miss Faith, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's definitely Monday, but I'm good.
So when you say definitely Monday, is it because you're tired? You're supposed to be all rested up. You got the finals behind you. You're
I went out with one of my friends yesterday. We did like a little hike yesterday, and then went and got lunch afterwards, and then I came home and took too long of a nap at like 3:30, so I had a hard time going to sleep last night. So
See, first off, we talk about my lack of sleep. I tell you what, if I take a nap, it's curt. I mean, if I'm able to take a nap, then I'm ruined for like 2 days. I can't do it. Also, want to give everybody a heads up as I'm like hovering over the mute button here. I have a huge cold. So I just took medicine right before, about 45 minutes before coming on air so I could get through the show. But if my eyes look like I've been, partaking of some interesting things, it's just a cold. And if my voice sounds a little weird or I start sneezing or coughing, you guys understand.
yeah.
So sorry about all the sniffles and all that stuff, but we got this.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, so let's just dive right into it. So our first segment is the Lakers fired coach Darvin Ham. The story comes from Yahoo Sports. So Darvin Ham's seat was hot from the moment he touched down in Los Angeles to become the next Lakers head coach, or the next scapegoat, depending on how one looks at it. It's never as simple as being eliminated in the first round a year after making an improbable run to the conference finals. Never as simple as the expectation that comes with coaching two generational players, each with their own particular sets of needs that complicates matters severely. It's never simple with the Lakers, never simple with LeBron James, who wielded his own leverage moments after the Lakers were eliminated Monday night by defending champion Denver Nuggets. But maybe it's as simple as the Lakers fired Ham after 2 seasons because they wanted to, because it was set in their minds reasonably early that they gathered enough evidence to say Ham wouldn't be the guy moving forward. You fire a coach because he loses a locker room, the players lose faith in him, and the front office can't instill confidence in the players. But nobody was going to be Ham's advocate anyway. Given how many teams in today's leagues fancied themselves as title contenders only to be sent home after May, let alone June, it's a predictable result. The coaches, while handsomely compensated, are easily disposable. One could make the case, reasonably or not, that you could fire 20 of 30 NBA coaches this season if you really wanted to fire them. The Lakers rarely see reason to keep a coach, going all the way back to Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, guys on the short list of the greatest of all time.
Okay. When I heard this, I wasn't surprised. I've never been a big advocate for coaches should be fired. I've never been that guy. But I kind of felt like it was the right decision. Not that Darvin Ham is a bad coach. I don't think Darvin Ham is a bad coach at all. I just think Darvin Ham is the wrong coach for this team, and it was the right time to make that move. He's had a successful career with the Lakers, no matter how you slice it. when you say year one, they made it to the Western Conference Finals and they got swept by Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did the in-season tournament to win the very first in-season tournament. Then after that, his team made it to the finals again. With those three things on his resume, those are impressive things on a resume. Those are things that when people step back and look at Darvin Ham, he's going to be fine. He's going to get another coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at the Lakers and I say the Lakers with a 39, 40-year-old LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and all the pressure that comes with it, I felt like it was justified because I feel like a big part of the reason why the Lakers are not in the playoffs right now are because of two things. And I feel like Darvin Ham had a big factor on both of these things. The first thing is, after the in-season tournament, Darvin Ham he changed the starting lineup for an extended period of time in which the Lakers were losing a lot of games. After blowing through the in-season tournament, he didn't stick with the same lineup that got them to the finals, that got them so successful in the in-season tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And because of those losses, while he was playing with the starting lineup, the Lakers ended up making the play-in tournament and then having to play Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Denver has had the Lakers number. That's the first thing. So if they would not have played with that, if they wouldn't have played with the starting lineup, I believe, this is my assumption, my belief, the Lakers finish out of the mean in the playoffs, not having to play in the in-season tournament, and they don't draw Denver in the first round. Maybe they draw someone else, a Cleveland or Orlando, a Clippers, a Dallas, Oklahoma City, someone else other than the team that had dominated them.
Mm-hmm.
So directly, Darvin Ham's coaching decisions, I felt like, had a major factor on where the Lakers ended up at. Then, what have I said about Denver all year when it comes to the Lakers, Faith?
It's the same show every time.
They own the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Since Darvin Ham has become the Lakers coach the last 2 years, just a couple days ago, he got his first win against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, rinse and repeat. The Lakers start out strong. They make a halftime adjustment. They chew up the lead in the third quarter and knock the Lakers off in the fourth quarter. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. To only have in the Western Conference Finals was swept, did not win a game regular season against Denver at all. And then this year, a gentleman's sweep against Denver. That's the reason why you let a Darvin Ham go.
Mm-hmm.
Your job as a coach is, okay, this team is dominating us for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What adjustments were made to make them more competitive with Denver so that, sure, okay, yes, Denver's the better team. So how about a 4 games to 2? How about in the regular season, it's not 12 straight wins or 11 straight wins, 12 out of 13 games. Maybe, Lakers win 5, Denver wins 7. That would show, hey, he's made the adjustment. The Lakers are doing better against Denver. There's absolutely nothing that shows that the Lakers have improved against Denver except for they just keep getting beat down, whether it's regular season or playoffs. That's a coaching issue. there's a difference between a team. Sure, I still admit Denver's the better team,
Mm-hmm.
but it's how you perform against them. Eventually, you have to figure out something to bring things closer.
Right.
Lakers losing in 6 games, respectable after getting swept. Saying the Lakers haven't won a regular season game against Denver at
Mm-hmm.
all. That's a coaching issue. That's a coach not figuring. The coach's job is the X's and O's. How do we get better? Where are my adjustments to make us better against Denver? I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, a lot like the Lakers, a lot of big bodies, they were able to make that adjustment and win game 1 against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers needed pretty much Murray to be out, a all-world performance from the team to just squeak out 1 win in 2 years. That's a reason to get rid of a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Yeah.
And then when you look at, okay, if you told me, listen, you can't beat Denver. You're looking at the playoff, you're looking at the regular season, and you're like, well, Denver's the defending champion. They're going to be number 1 in the division or number 2 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to play to make sure we're not the 7th seed or the 8th seed. The regular season, in this particular case, if a team's dominating us, the regular season matters so much. So we're going to play to do everything in our power to not run into Denver in the playoffs and to be able to end up in a situation where they're in the play-in tournament with no choice but to either play the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed is an outright failure when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis coming off of winning the play-in tournament and then absolutely tanking right after the play-in tournament because he scraps his lineup and those games matter.
Mm-hmm.
Directly, in my opinion, he's the reason why the Lakers are out. Now, if you ask me, are the Lakers better than Denver? No, they're not better than Denver. That's what I'm saying. But knowing we can't beat this team, I can't figure out the adjustments on how to beat this team. So I'm going to figure out how to avoid this team. That's a coach's job.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't do, and because he didn't do that, that's the reason why I was okay with him getting fired or let go. And fired is such a harsh term. Let's call it the Lakers looking at this situation of what's going on with Denver, seeing all these young teams up and coming and realizing it's not that we're firing him. We need to do something different, dramatically different to compete against Denver and to compete against these younger teams. So the coach has to go.
Yeah.
Does that sound, when you point it out that way, does that sound like a reasonable reason to change coaches?
No, I mean it does. If you only you only beat a team once in like 2 years, it definitely seems like it's a coach problem instead of a team problem.
What would happen at the University of Georgia? You go there. Somebody use that as an example.
Mm-hmm.
If the University of Georgia went and for it'd be equivalent of 10 years straight, they crush everybody but lose to Alabama again and again and again and again and again. An athletic director would look at the coach of Georgia and say, he's a great coach, he's done great things, but we need a new solution because he can't figure out how to get past Alabama. That's what an an athletic director would do. That's what a general manager should do. That's the reason why it's justified to get rid of him. I don't like the whole getting rid of coaches, and I know the Lakers have gotten rid of a number of coaches in the last few years, but this one I think is the most justified of all. So.
Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the NBA playoff games. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the Los Angeles Lakers firing coach Darvin Ham, and now we're going to be discussing the NBA playoff games. Before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is gsmcpodcast.net. This just puts your question at the top of the list so I can see it, and it also really helps the show.
Right. So, how many games are we covering over here?
2.
Okay, 2. I just want to make sure I'm timing things properly here. You know what
2.
I mean?
Yeah. Alrighty. So, our first game that we're going to be talking about is Minnesota versus Denver, which was game 1. This story also comes from Yahoo Sports. So, Anthony Davis punched the Denver Nuggets in the mouth Saturday. Denver hit back, but Naz Reid delivered the knockout blow in a 106-99 Minnesota Timberwolves win over the Nuggets in Game 1 of their second playoff series. Billed as the continued coming out party for one of the game's brightest young stars against the reigning champs, Saturday's contest lived up to the hype. Each team took its turn in the driver's seat before the Timberwolves ultimately prevailed in a tense win on the road to put the Nuggets on notice. Edwards scored 16 first-quarter points, including 13 of Minnesota's first 18, as the Timberwolves jumped out to an 18-4 lead. The Nuggets answered with a 21-5 run to close out the first quarter with a 25-23 lead. From there, it was the slugfest until a late Minnesota run sparked by the NBA's sixth man of the year. Reid scored 10 straight Timberwolf points in the fourth quarter, including a pair of three-pointers to put the Timberwolves up 94-88. The Nuggets never recovered as Minnesota's held on down the stretch to stun the champion Nuggets in their own building. The loss marks the first time since 2022 that the Nuggets have trailed in the playoff series. They never faced a series deficit in their run to the title last year.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
I'm hearing you read this, and it made me smile because I was laughing at myself.
Why?
Okay, first off, I am a Laker fan, so I am so used to getting tenderized by the Denver Nuggets so often that when we were talking about talking about games that we're going to do, I saw the score. Because what I tend to do is I'm in Europe, so the games are played in the middle of the night. So I don't get the games live. I watch the games the next morning. So I accidentally saw, sometimes you go to a website and it's like, Minnesota shocks Denver. But in the world of social media, there's so much of that clickbait, crap going on, and you're just like, so I saw that. And so I clicked on it and it was like, BillyBob.com website. So I'm like, I don't believe that. So I went to another site and it had it that Minnesota beat Denver. And I'm like, oh no. So I went to ESPN
Tate was
to
in
confirm. Yes, that's how crazy it was. I went to 3 websites. I skipped the game and went right to start because I saw that. I started chasing it. I went to 3 websites before I believed that Minnesota beat Denver in game 1. How crazy is that? Because you're so used to getting tenderized and spanked as a Laker fan. I just was like assuming, this is going to be, doing what they do. And it wasn't. Game 1, think about game 1 in Denver, arrested Denver Nuggets, Murray, Jokic, and Anthony, they call him Ant-Man, Edwards. I think that's a horrible nickname. Ant-Man. I think that's a horrible nickname. I would like to name him the Happy Kobe. Here's the reason why. He plays a lot like Jordan and Kobe. It's weird watching him with a lot of the same moves, the same killer instinct. But when Jordan and Kobe do it, they got that look, they got that eye of the tiger thing going, they got that intensity going. He's killing you softly he's smiling, he's happy on the court. He's doing all the things that you see Kobe and Jordan do with a smile on his face. That's why I call him the Happy Kobe. Because he reminds me so much of Kobe, but it's like he's enjoying it more.
Yeah.
He's enjoying it. With Jordan and Kobe, it was like, I'll enjoy it later. Right now, today is business. This is a business meeting. I'm here to kill you. He is like, he's enjoying the whole process. As he's driving on you, he's dropping fadeaways on a team that no one even took serious. That's the thing about it. No one really took Minnesota serious. Yes, they're winning games. There's lots of young teams that win games in the regular season and then get smashed in the playoffs, especially in the second round. The young teams, the second round is where young teams go to die. And Minnesota, it was like, not us.
Yeah.
Not Happy Kobe. He was killing. Like, I watched him. Murray is the Frankenstein of basketball. He lumbers, he's slow, but he's methodical, but he kills you. And I watched Minnesota speed him up, where he's dribbling and he's running around. And it didn't even look like Murray because they were frustrating Murray. I'm sorry, not Murray, but Jokic. They were frustrating Jokic, making Jokic make bad passes, making a lot of bad decisions. It was amazing to see. And I'm like, that's another thing when we talk about Darvin Ham getting fired. When I saw that, I'm like, yep, Darvin Ham gotta go. Cancel Christmas on Darvin. Yeah. Just seeing that alone is like, here's your pink slip, sir. You know what I mean? So that's the way it was. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it at that because I know we got more to talk about.
Yes. So The next game we'll be covering is the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Orlando Magic, which was Game 7. This story comes from AP News. So Donovan Mitchell brought redemption and relief to himself and the Cavaliers. A year after being bullied and bounced in the first round of the NBA playoffs, Cleveland is moving on, and Mitchell made sure. "This is why I'm here," he said. "It's my job." Mitchell scored 39 points. Karis LeVert added at 15, and Cleveland avoided a potential franchise-shifting loss by rallying for a 106-94 win over the Orlando Magic on Sunday in Game 7 to advance to the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Cavs traveled by 18 in the first half and were in danger of being eliminated early in the for the second year in a row, a scenario that may have led to firings. But Mitchell, who scored 50 in a Game 6 loss at Orlando, and has been battling a left knee injury for months, put the Cavs on his back. He carried them past an up-and-coming Orlando team whose playoff inexperience showed in the second half. "I don't mean this disrespectful, but it doesn't really mean much," Mitchell said. "We didn't come in just to win the first round. We accomplished one goal. Now we have to do it again. That's the mindset." According to the NBA, Cleveland's comeback is the largest in a Game 7 since the league began, tracking play-by-play in 1997 and 98. Evan Mobley grabbed 16 rebounds, and Darius Garland hit a critical three-pointer after getting a pep talk from Mitchell in the fourth for Cleveland, which won its first playoff series without LeBron James since 1993. The Cavs will begin the second round on the road against the top-seeded Celtics in Game 1 on Tuesday. Boston went 2-1 against Cleveland this season. In the closing minutes, the towel-waving crowd inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse chanted, "We want Boston," a matchup that didn't look likely an hour earlier.
Okay, first off, I got a few offs, but this one. Listen, don't be chanting you want Boston. Don't nobody want Boston. Nobody wants Boston. Not this year.
Mm-hmm.
You want, maybe they heard it wrong. We want everybody but Boston. Maybe that's what they were chanting. Okay. You don't think they heard it wrong?
No.
Okay. I'm just making sure now. Because sometimes microphones are a little off and maybe they just missed that little part. I'm from the Cleveland, Ohio area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny to talk about this. I'm from a little town in Ohio, Alliance, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird because Cleveland, the Cavaliers were on chill mode. This weekend, I thought they'd be training and everything. I'm getting phone calls from home. Hey, the Cavaliers are in Alliance. They hanging out and chilling in my hometown. Now, here's a cool thing about my hometown. We have an actual castle in our hometown. So it was donated to our school. There was I think it was J.P. Morgan's nephew lived in my hometown. And when he passed, somehow the castle ended up being donated to our high school or to our school system. So the first thing I want you to do, Faith, is type in Alliance, Ohio Castle, and you'll get to see the castle in my hometown, which is right. And my school was right behind the castle. Mm-hmm. So that's the castle I grew up with, which is kind of weird to say, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you get to see the castle that I grew up with. It's a nice looking castle.
I don't know if you'd call it a castle. It kind of looks more like an estate than like a
No, so what happened was the guy bought a castle in Europe, shipped it over brick by brick back in the 50s or something like that. Don't quote me on the history timeline, 40s, 50s, whatever time period it was. But he bought a castle, had it shipped over, built. He lived in the castle, and then eventually the castle ended up being donated to our school board. And that's where our school board holds their meetings. And I've been in that castle a million times. Matter of fact, I used to sneak in that castle and play laser tag as a kid. So that's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the Cavaliers were there before the game, the day before they had the game. And I thought that was really weird because, normally the teams are like shutting down. And I thought when I thought about it, I'm like, that's incredibly smart. You're in game 7 against a team that is highly motivated. You're in game 7 against a team that is your equal. These two teams are so evenly matched up. That's the reason why I tell you the story about them being in my hometown, is because I thought it was a smart thing to go on a quick little road trip before the game to kind of loosen everybody up and have a more relaxing moment to put people in the right mindset. Sometimes relieving the stress is the key to winning a game. And I thought that was incredibly smart. What the Cavaliers did was to kind of relax their team instead of, making them more stressed out. So, and I think things like that are little things that help teams win, especially when you look at a game like this, where the Cavaliers and the Magic, they both play defense incredibly well. They're pretty much identical teams who have played exactly the same way, resulting in pretty much a stalemate. Game 7, both teams played incredibly well. Cavaliers had to come back, a big comeback to win. And this is a franchise-changing moment for the Cavaliers. The Cavs haven't won since LeBron left. So to see a situation where they were able to get over the hump in a highly contested 7-game series against Orlando and move on is huge. Like they were saying, if they lose after getting knocked out of the playoffs last year, maybe you look around and say, hey, what we're doing is not working. Maybe we need to part with some players here, maybe do away with coaches here. Now it's, hey, we're on to the second round. We're contending against the team, the Celtics, who people think are favorites to win the NBA championship or thought to be a major contender for the NBA championship. We're going on there and we're going to match up head to head with them. There's no revamping the team, bringing in new players, bringing in new coaches. Now we're there. We've arrived. There's a whole different mindset. Like the Lakers are like, what we're doing is not working. Where the Cavaliers are like, we've arrived. And that's a great thing. So talking about the Lakers, look at the Cavs. They're both LeBron James teams, both, two of my favorite teams, but it's like they're going in different directions. This is a great story. I'm looking forward to seeing how well the Cavs match up with the Celtics. The key to the Cavaliers playing against the Celtics are the better team. I'm just going to keep it real. But can Cleveland play the defense they need, that smothering defense to slow down the Celtics, make the games competitive, and get a few upsets and possibly win the series? That's what I want to see. Looking forward to that.
Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take another short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about what is next for the Los Angeles Clippers. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were talking about the NBA playoff games that happened this past weekend, and now we're going to be talking about Dallas eliminated the Los Angeles Clippers, and so what is next for them? Alrighty, so.
Is that it? Is that everything? I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, that's everything. Okay, so for our next segment, we'll be talking about Dallas eliminated the Los Angeles Clippers. So what is next for the Clippers? This story comes from the Los Angeles Times. Steve Ballmer leaned over from his baseline seat and shook hands with a reporter walking by, the Clippers owner appearing somber after watching his team get eliminated from the playoffs with a 114-101 loss in Game 6 to the Dallas Mavericks at American Airlines Arena. A few minutes later, Clippers coach Tyrone Lue said Ballmer walked into the team's locker room and spoke to the players. Along with the president of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, Ballmer has a lot of decisions to make about the future of the franchise as it prepares to move into a new arena, the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, next season. Most of the questions will center on the health of Kawhi Leonard, contract extensions for Paul George and Lou, and whether the Clippers re-sign James Harden. So Ballmer's decision to talk to the players after their season-ending loss meant a lot to the team. The Clippers again had to play without their best player, Leonard, who missed his fourth game in the series because of an inflammation in his right knee. He played 68 games during the regular season, but missed the final 8 with the knee issue. He played in Game 2 and 3, but was limited. Leonard did not make the trip to Dallas for Game 6.
Okay. First off, Kawhi Leonard, an amazingly talented player. Make sure it's understood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not throwing shade on his game. His game, healthy Kawhi Leonard could be the best player in basketball. But, the most important ability is availability. And I know that's a cliche.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Clippers, this is fact. The Clippers have gone years without Kawhi Leonard being healthy. I can't remember a playoff game or a playoff series that Kawhi Leonard has played in that he was healthy, or that he played in every game, or that he was available. It's been a flat-out failure. If I told you there's only 5 players on the court and the Clippers have 4 Hall of Famers, 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4.
Mm-hmm.
4 Hall of Famers could be on the court at any time. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. And year after year after year after year, first round exit, second round exit, rarely ever do they make it to the Western Conference Finals. This has been one expensive failure. Steve Ballmer's, gotta show some respect, put some respect on that name. The richest NBA owner in basketball is in a rock and hard place. Because I would tell you that Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, all of those guys have contracts coming up. I wouldn't re-sign them. Here's the problem, though. Steve Ballmer, who's been playing in the Lakers Crypto.com arena for their entire life in Los Angeles, Ballmer decided, nope, we're done with that. We're building our own arena, and they have this amazing arena. They're tired of being the little brothers to the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers. So they wanted to have the biggest, baddest arena there is. Well, they're moving into that arena this next season. Here's the problem. Moving into that new arena, the new $1 billion arena, you can't roll in there unless you have a star-studded team that can contend. So because of that, you can't go through and say, what's the best decision? Getting rid of Russ, getting rid of Harden, getting rid of Paul George. Russ is not the same player anymore. He's no longer the same player. Harden, every single year when it gets to the playoffs, Harden has had his worst games. Harden can average 30, 40 points a night. The playoffs come in 6, 10 points, 12 points. They need regular season Harden. So many teams have needed regular season Harden, and it doesn't matter where it's at. Whether he was in Oklahoma City, whether he was in Brooklyn, whether, Houston, it doesn't matter where Harden goes. He's had colossal collapses in the playoffs when you need it most. So, and Harden's old. But he's going to want top dollar. He's going to want a max contract. Paul George, fantastic player. If there's anyone I'm signing, Paul George is the one I'm signing. But then, just like Kawhi Leonard, rarely are they healthy. You can't be old and unhealthy. Consistently poor performances in the playoffs, getting knocked out early, and be the most expensive team in basketball while old, broke down, wore out. It's a hard thing. But if you're thinking business-wise, what's best for business? You cannot part ways with these guys going into a new arena. You have seats to sell. So give me 1 second.
Bless you.
First time the cold came and tapped me on the shoulder. What it is it's not the cold. I've been allergic to the Clippers from day one. That's what that cold was. That's what that sneeze was. I'm just allergic to the Clippers in general. But moving into that arena, what do you do if you're an owner? You've moved maybe the most expensive basketball arena in history. You need the all-stars for people to buy luxury boxes and all the $10,000, $20,000 seats a night. You need those all-stars and Hall of Famers. But you're looking around and you're saying, what's best for basketball? How do I put a winning team, a championship contending team? You have to part ways with the old guys. So they're in a rock and a hard place. I don't see a way around it except for they're going to have to sign these guys again. Now, I'm breaking this up into 2 segments, Miss Faith. Okay. A segment that you didn't even see. Here's a weird thing in the NBA. Paul George, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You look around and the biggest, Kevin Durant, Booker. You look at Bradley Beal. The biggest names, all the names that the NBA, every marquee name for the NBA that the NBA has put out and showcased for the last 20 years are gone. They're all out of the playoffs. Oh, let's go see KD. KD's at home. Where's LeBron at? He's in Cancun. You understand what I'm saying? Where's Steph Curry? he's on the beach. They're all gone fishing.
Taking
The
a nap.
biggest names in the NBA, especially the biggest American names in the NBA are gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that the NBA and Adam Silver sees this and realizes this. Next year, the NBA needs to rebrand itself. They need to go away from the LeBron Jameses. I mean, think about it. Joel Embiid's gone. Giannis is gone. They're, all the big names not there. The NBA needs to start rebranding itself. Look around and say, Tatum, Anthony Edwards. You have to look at Joker. Donovan Mitchell. You have to start making these guys that are on Cleveland and the Celtics and Minnesota and New Orleans and Oklahoma City household names to prepare for the future, because this is the changing of the guard. All the top names in the NBA are gone. They're not in the playoffs. They're not gone. This isn't the Eastern Western Conference Finals and they're all gone. Everybody's gone by the end of the first round. All their stars are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there hasn't been enough promotion of guys like Anthony Edwards. There hasn't been enough promotions for the Donovan Mitchells of the world out there. And so when you look around, Tatum and Brown, they haven't been promoted like LeBron and Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. It should be the passing the torch. It is the passing of the torch, but the NBA hasn't been promoting these guys, and it's a big mistake. And this is a wake-up call to the NBA that they have to start promoting these guys, because this is not a fluke thing. The best teams are still playing. Oklahoma City, best record in the West. Denver Nuggets, second best. You look around, Minnesota Timberwolves, the New York Knicks, the Celtics. These were the teams with the absolute best records in basketball. This is not a fluke. The NBA has made a mistake. The NBA's gotten old right before our eyes, and nobody knew it. And now all their stars are not playing. And that is something to worry about. It's a great opportunity, though, for the NBA, like Anthony Edwards. Most people don't even know who he is. Casual NBA fans don't know who he is. After the playoffs, they better know who he is. The NBA, it's their number one priority to make people know who these guys are. And so that is something that I wanted to bring up. I know that wasn't really a topic, but it is an alarming situation to see that your stars are now old. And not only are they old, but they're not winning. Steph Curry and LeBron and Kevin Durant and James Harden are not winning, and it's time to move on. That's what I want to leave with.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into our Monday special of dating horror stories. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be back in a minute.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Earlier we were talking about what's next for the Los Angeles Clippers, and now we're going to dive into our Monday special of dating horror stories. So, Tate's favorite. You're on mute.
Thank you, Miss Faith. All right, I was saying, see, I'm over here blowing my nose, sniffling and everything, so brother had to hit that mute button. But sick or not, you know I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. Alrighty, so if you guys don't know already, our dating horror stories come from Reddit. So, and this is from the subreddit, I believe, of Ask Reddit. Yes, okay, because there's a lot of stuff on Ask Reddit. Anyway, okay, so, went on a date with a Navy boy. He seems smart and sweet online. He picks me up in an incredibly, ostentatious yellow Camaro, which I have the seeking suspicion he borrowed as it was a stick, and dude had a really bad time driving it. We decided to walk on the boardwalk for a while, so he pulls into a parking garage. In his attempt to park the car, he completely sideswipes the car next to us, leaving yellow paint all across their car. He doesn't even act like anything happened, so I say, I think you may have hit the car next to us. He gets out, looks at it, then climbs back in and goes, I guess I should park somewhere else, and peels out before I could even say anything. Fast forward, the date is going poorly, as a hit and run is never a good start, and it's miserably hot out, so we decide to see a movie. It happened to be Shrek the Final Chapter, a kid's movie. He has his feet on the seats in front of us, which is no big deal until Dad, holding his toddler daughter, comes in and the only seats still open are the ones in front of us. The dad goes to sit down. Navy boy doesn't move his feet. In fact, he even moves his feet forward a bit so that hits the dad in the head. The dad looks back at us, and then Navy boy sighs heavily, takes his feet down, looks at me and goes, my feet were there first. After the movie, he asked if I wanted to go to dinner. I said no. He drops me off. I'm surprised he didn't drop the transmission as well, and asks when he can see me again. He had a great time. Married 5 years now. Just kidding. I took a mental note of his license plate and called the parking garage. Did not see him again.
Oh, I thought you were serious, like married 5 years. I'm like, oh, hell no. All right. You know, I'd like to hear Faith's talk on this one first, so I'm gonna let you go first.
If somebody sideswiped a car before our date even started, I'd be like, you know what? It was nice to meet you. I'm gonna call somebody to come pick me up. I'll see you later. Because you're an accomplice to a crime. If you don't tell somebody that you were with sideswiped a car and hit a car and then just peeled out and like parked somewhere else. Like, no. I'm not you are not worth me getting in trouble for because you decided not to leave a note, like a decent human being, not gonna do it.
Okay. I love your take. First off. I got a question for you. I have a similar story. This is different, but a little similar story. Do I tell my similar story to this? It's not a date, but a situation of me being in an accident, or do I answer about the date first? You give me the order.
Whatever. You're little Mr. Sicky Pants over here, so you can make the decision.
Okay, I'm going to give you my story because it made me think about this story first. And then I'm going to dive into little yellow Corvette instead of little red Corvette. It made me think of a story on a personal side first. I was living in California, and I have a very nice Mustang, a limited edition. And one day, I was at this bank, and I wasn't paying attention, keeping it real, wasn't paying attention. I was on the phone with a person, and I put my car in reverse. I bag up, and I totally hit this car. The car was parked here. It was parked. I bagged in, hit the door, caved the door in. No damage to my car, Faith. Some lady jumps out of her car right away. Don't you move. Don't you move. don't you move. And I'm like, no problem. I got insurance. I got me some Geico. So the brother's not worried. But she was like, I saw this. You hit that car. I'm like, so what? I'm like, I get, it's not more so what, but it's like, I'm just like, I did some damage to the car. So she runs into the bank and she asks who owns the car. This cute little blonde girl comes out and she looks at the car. Now, the door is dented in. I mean, I dented in the door. And she knows what she says to me? It's okay. I don't care. It's my boyfriend's car. You can go. I swear to you on my life, that's a true story. And I'm like, no. And she was like, no, it's okay. I don't care. And I left. I left. She said it was her boyfriend's car. I caved in his door and she told me it was okay. What do you do in that situation?
That makes me think of a story that I have.
Go ahead, girl. Let's go ahead.
This was when I was still living in my hometown and going to school there. I was living with my parents, but one of my friends had an apartment in my hometown, and I had gone and visited her and was just hanging out with her at her apartment. And it was late at night. I think I left around like 10 or 11 o'clock. And so it was a small apartment parking lot, not very many people were parked there. And nobody was there. It was late at night. So by the time I was leaving, I didn't even think about it. I didn't look behind me or anything. I just backed out and was about to leave when I smash into a car behind me.
Damn. Okay.
And the whole driver's side is just dented in really badly.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh crap. So I had to run back up to my friend's apartment, and I was gonna write a note and leave my insurance and everything like that and put it in the car, on the car windshield. And I come back down and there's 4 people surrounding the car. And I was hey, I was like, hey, sorry, that was me. I was going and grabbing a note and putting it, gonna put it in your car. Let's exchange information. They called the cops on me, and turns out it wasn't my fault. The dude was illegally parked behind me, and I hit his car, and the police officer told him, dude, you parked where you weren't supposed to. There's nothing that I can do about it.
Okay, that's a good story, because that goes with my story. The person that was parked behind me parked illegally, and I caved in her door. Mm-hmm. So that's helpful there, but thank you, sister, for giving me some legal advice here.
No damage on me or anything.
And so they were like, dude, you parked illegally. That's your fault.
Literally, the cop was like, I don't know why you called me.
Wow, that's crazy. What did you call me for, fool?
Yeah.
That's nuts. Mm-hmm. I don't know which story I like better. The fact that the cop was like, why did you call me?
It's not
or the girl coming out and being like, it's okay.
She probably,
you can go. She
knew. She knew. She was like, I definitely shouldn't have parked here. She probably knew the second she put that car in park. She was like, I definitely don't need to park here. But she was like, whatever.
But she was like, it's okay. It's my boyfriend's car anyway.
Boyfriend's probably loaded.
See, you look at it differently. You're like, boyfriend's loaded. I'm like, boyfriend had to be cheating. He had to do something. Boyfriend had to have done something really bad, because I didn't hit the door. I caved the door in.
Yeah, that's how I was too. And my car was fine.
Mine was too, babe. Mine was
I was driving a reliable. Oh, I loved this car. I was so sad when I had to give it away. It was a 2000 Honda Accord. It was the best car ever. Never ever took any damage ever, and yeah, the back of my car was fine.
Yeah, apparently it's better to bag into a car, but don't get hit from the side, because I tore that car up and walked out of there scot-free. So you just think your boyfriend's loaded. You don't. It's not about.
I mean, it could be that he's
Or
also
maybe
just kind of a
loaded
jerk.
and a jerk.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I'm serious. If my girl came home and she told me, "Hey, your car just got dented in. We just caved the door in," but I just told him to go. That's no big deal. My head would have popped clean off. I'd have spontaneously combusted right there. So we didn't got sidetracked on the original story because we had to talk about a little Tate and Faith car accident situations, which we're allowed to do. All right, now
That's
let's
the
go
only
back
car accident I've ever got into. I just want to say that, and it wasn't even my fault.
Faith, it's kind of crazy, but my other car accident just happened when I was in Ohio in October. I'm gonna tell that story now. I'm trying to meet up with some of my old fraternity brothers at a meeting. I think it was October. Anyway, I'm in Cleveland. I go to change lanes. I change lanes and I'm driving down. I'm trying to get to my hotel. That's where I'm getting to.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy pulls up behind me in the parking lot and he's like, "You hit my car and you ran." And I'm like, "What?" And I don't even see a scratch on his car. There's no scratch on my car. He's like, "I'm calling the police." I'm like, "No problem, brother. I got insurance. We can exchange information." He gets on the phone and he says, "This guy, he hit my car and it was a hit and run. I followed him and now I'm afraid for my life. Can you send somebody?" And I'm like, "Afraid for your life? Dog, I'm trying to give you insurance."
Yeah.
And there's a rental car, I got insurance, everything. I'm like, "I'm trying to give you insurance." And he's like, "Can you come please really fast? I'm really afraid." And I'm like, "What the heck is going down?" And I'm like, "This isn't true." So I call and they just tell him, "Listen, if you're afraid for your life, you should go on and just go to the police station."
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "Okay." So he goes to the police station. So I get in my car and I drive to the police station as well. Like, okay, this is it ain't no hit and run. I'm gonna follow.
You're following the guy who said he's afraid for his life.
So I go to the police station. I pull in. I go in. He pulls off. I file a police report like, "Hey, this is the situation. He said I hit his car. There's no scratches on my car. I don't see no scratches on his." But he was calling saying he was afraid for his life and everything. So I did a police report and things of that nature. I was at the police station. Now, this is me living in Europe and coming back to the U.S. The dude never filed a police report. I don't understand what went down. So I've only had 2 accidents in my life, 0 police reports. Incidences at all. Just weird situations.
My guy was trying to get some money out of you. That's probably what it was.
Is that what you think it was? If he was trying to get some cheddar, don't you think he'd have went at the police station and went on in? Or was it like, "This fool followed me to the police station"? I'm not going.
Yeah.
This dude is crazy enough to follow me to the police station.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I ain't going in.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it was?
Yeah.
Dang, baby. All right, now let's dive into the story. Recap the story for the audience if you don't mind. Just give a little clip notes. You don't have to reread it.
So this girl went out with this guy. He was driving a yellow Camaro. He sideswiped the car in a parking garage. And then
couldn't drive it.
Yeah, he dips out after she says it and parks somewhere else, and then overall the date was terrible. And then she took a mental note of his license plate and called the parking garage after the date was over with.
First off, our stories, I think I like our stories better. But let's comment on this. First off, she was wondering if that was even his car. I wonder that too. Number 1, that's a rental or that's daddy's car. What do you say, Faye? Because
I would say it's somebody's car that he knows, because why the heck would you rent a stick shift if you don't know how to drive a stick shift?
Well, there's a reason for that one. As a person who has rented a lot of cars, especially sports cars, if if you're trying to rent a sports car, a lot of times you only have the stick as the only option for a lot of the sports cars. If you decided to go rent a Porsche or a Corvette or a Viper or something like that, these are things I've rented in the past. They're always stick. And so I think he could have been a rental where he's like, you know what? Let me go impress old girl. I'm gonna go rent a yellow Corvette. What you gonna yellow Corvette? Ooh, that's even lower. Okay. In my mind, I had at least a Corvette. It's a Camaro. Camaro's okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that was a rental. He had all the insurance on it. He tore somebody else's place up. Nothing. Okay, if you are on a date, I'm trying to impress you, Faith. I pull in the parking lot and I tear up the side of my car and another car. The first thing what you want to do is at least
I'm getting out of the car.
But at least be like, hey, I'm gonna do the right thing. I want to do the right thing. I'm sorry if this is kind of put a hinder our date, but I want to do the right thing. Just maybe even just to show the girl, hey, I'm a good guy. Something like that. But if you're that guy, you tear up the Corvette, Camaro. Then you go to the movie and you see a guy and his little son, and you got your feet up, and you're like, kick my man in the melon. You kick him in the head with his son there, and the guy looks at you, and you're like, my feet was there first. This is like.
He sounds like a real stand-up guy.
Wait, this is nope. This is not the guy you want to end up dating. This guy, does that, when you hear these things, does that sound like that's father material right there? That's hubby.com there.
No.
Nobody wants to end up with that dude. That guy comes off as very selfish, very self-centered, and unaware. I actually give my girl some credit because of the fact that she went and did the right thing. She turned in, she called and gave his information, and she made the decision, because some of these dating stories you'll be telling me about, they'll be doing some horrific things, and they'll be like, and then we went on our 15th date. No, this woman was like, nope, we are done. We're not going on any more dates. Lose my number. Let's move on. That's a positive one right there. You got 4 stories for the price of one. Jerk in the yellow Camaro. Faith T-boning somebody in the parking lot. Me T-boning somebody in the bank, and then my hit and run incident that ends up going to the police station. You got 4 stories for the price of one today. Yep. What do you think, Faith?
I think it's good.
We're starting things. We're starting Monday off on point. I only got away with 1 sneeze. That was because I'm allergic to the Clippers. We did a good show today.
Yeah, we did.
Also, real quick, everyone, I'm digging Faith's hair today. It's kind of straight. She's looking really fantastic.
Thank you.
Want to throw that out there as well.
Thank you. Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are going to close out the show for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you tomorrow. See ya.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great.